Dad, I took that idiot's bank card and there's no money on it. I embarrassed myself in front of the whole store. My sister screamed into the phone. Moments later, my brother rushed home and burst into my apartment. What is wrong with you? Are you not afraid of anyone anymore? He took one step inside, then froze. My name is Sloan Mercer. I'm 28. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. Have you ever felt the exact moment fear leaves your body, and something colder, clearer takes its place? He stopped because the living room didn't look like ours anymore. The TV displayed a paused video of my sister at the boutique checkout trying my card. On the coffee table lay printed bank statements, a notarized affidavit, and a bright yellow notice from the county court. Temporary protective order, hearing scheduled. By the door, a locksmith tightened the last screw on a brand new deadbolt, while our building's security supervisor logged the serial numbers of the keys. Hi, I said evenly. Before you ask, that idiot's bank card you stole was a merchant-restricted decoy with a zero limit. The real accounts were moved weeks ago. He stared at the screen, then at the folder in my hand. You recorded us? Backups of threats, demands, and the part where Mom said I'd kneel for grocery money. I nodded toward the mic on the shelf. Admissible. His jaw tightened, searching for a script that used to scare me. It didn't. My phone buzzed on speaker. Fraud Department, Ms. Mercer, confirming your request. Attempted use of the decoy card triggered a security flag. Associated devices are locked out. We'll forward the incident packet to your attorney. Thank you, I said, calm as air. I looked back at my brother. You came to yell. I came prepared. He pointed at the court notice with a shaky finger. You're seriously taking this to a judge? I smiled, small and tired. No. A judge is already taking it. Behind him, the locksmith clicked the new lock, handed me 2 engraved keys, and the security supervisor collected my brother's access fob from his trembling hand. Effective now, she said gently. You're no longer authorized on this unit. My brother swallowed hard. Out in the hallway, Mom's ringtone began to ring, again and again. He backed away like the building suddenly tilted. Mom was still yelling on speaker. Put her on the phone. She thinks we're scared. We made her. She'll crawl back. He didn't answer. He just stared, really stared, like it was the first time he realized I wasn't the same doormat who paid his parking tickets and loaned him $9,000 every time his car needed new brakes. The elevator dinged. 2 uniformed officers stepped out. Ms. Mercer, the taller one asked. Yes. He handed me a packet. Judge Ramirez authorized the emergency order. Effective immediately, no family member may enter this residence until the hearing date. If they attempt, call us. My brother's face turned ash gray. Wait, you actually filed? I didn't file because of today, I said quietly. I filed because of the last 10 years. He blinked like the words hit him physically. The officers escorted him toward the elevator. He didn't fight, didn't shout, didn't even turn around. When the doors closed, the silence in the hallway felt brand new, like the start of a season with clean air. I stepped back inside, locked the new metal bolt, placed both keys on the marble counter and exhaled. For the first time, my apartment felt like mine. Not an extension of their entitlement. Not a family bank branch. Not a storage room for other people's emergencies. I made tea, kicked off my shoes, and opened my laptop to finish work. Because while they were busy trying to control me, I was busy building the kind of career that pays for freedom. The next morning, my phone buzzed at 6:27 a.m. 17 missed calls, 26 messages, all from Mom. The last one read, You embarrassed us. You made your own mother look stupid at that store. Fix this. Fix this. That was their entire worldview in 2 words. Every time they broke something, my savings, my credit, my dignity, I was the designated fixer. Not anymore. I got ready for work. Navy blazer. Hair pinned back. Light makeup. The look that says I don't need permission to exist. At the office, my boss, Mr. Hayward, waved me into his glass-walled corner meeting room. Sloan, he said, sliding a printed memo toward me. The board approved your fraud prevention model. We want you to lead the implementation. My throat tightened. This wasn't just a promotion. It was a department of my own. Your work is about empowerment, he added. We want your voice on every panel this quarter. The timing felt like the universe whispering, see? Their version of you is always too small. During lunch, my attorney called. The fraud flag hit your sister's attempt again. She tried to use the decoy card one more time, at a Rolex boutique. I laughed. Actually laughed in public. Good, I said. Document every attempt. That evening when I got home, a handwritten note was slipped under my door. Dad says you're heartless. We just wanted what you already have. Why couldn't you share? Mom. I folded the paper carefully, not emotionally but logistically, because in my new world, evidence isn't sadness. Evidence is leverage. Evidence is freedom. And I wasn't done yet. Saturday morning I drove to the bank. Not because I needed to but because I wanted physical, notarized copies of everything. The branch manager, Ms. Collins, greeted me instantly. Ms. Mercer, we've been expecting you. She led me into her office, closed the frosted glass door and placed a thick file on her desk. All attempted transactions from your sister's failed card usage, she said. Plus the voice transcripts from your mother's calls demanding access. She handed me a pen. We can attach these directly to your protective order case. As I signed, she leaned forward and whispered, "You'd be shocked how often the biggest financial abusers are blood relatives." I wasn't shocked. Not anymore. When I left, I carried a folder that weighed about as much as the truth I'd been holding for years. Only now that truth had paper trails and legal teeth. At home, I set everything onto my glass dining table and froze. Someone was sitting on the hallway floor. He looked smaller than I remembered. Slumped, exhausted, hands clasped in front of his face. I waited here for 2 hours, he said quietly. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just looked defeated. Sloan, your mother is hysterical. Your sister said you're trying to destroy us. I set down my keys. I'm trying to stop being destroyed by you. He rubbed his forehead. We never meant. I raised my hand. No more excuses. I didn't start the war. I ended the free access. His eyes flickered, shame, guilt, fear, maybe all of it. Finally, he whispered, barely audible, "Your sister wants to talk. She's coming here." I didn't flinch. Good, I said. I want her to see what she started. 20 minutes later, the elevator dinged and my sister walked out like she owned the entire floor. Full makeup, designer coat, sunglasses inside, as if she were arriving at a red carpet event, not a crisis she caused. She didn't even look at me first. She stormed past Dad, dropped her luxury purse on my counter and snapped, "Fix my card." I leaned against the island, calm. "Sit." She froze. She wasn't used to that tone from me. Dad sat down slowly like he already knew something was about to break open. My sister crossed her arms, chin lifted. "You owe us that money. You wouldn't have anything if it weren't for Mom and Dad raising you." I let her finish every delusional syllable, then slid the folder from the bank across the counter. She barely touched the first page before her face changed. Screenshots of her attempts. Audio transcripts of her demands. Fraud flags. Her signature, forging mine, on a loan form from months ago. Her lips parted. "I never signed that." I turned my phone toward her, paused on her own voice print ID clip. "You did," I said quietly. Dad's face drained of color. My sister stumbled back one step like the floor had shifted under her. You set me up." "No," I said. "You set yourself up. I just stopped covering your tracks." Her breathing sharpened. "What are you going to do with this?" she whispered. I looked her straight in the eyes. No anger, just clarity. "I already did." Her pupils dilated. Pure recognition. She realized she wasn't dealing with the sister she used to bully. She was facing a woman who finally played on equal ground and came prepared. Dad sank into the dining chair like his knees gave out. My sister clutched the counter, voice trembling now, not with rage but fear. "Are you pressing charges?" she whispered. I didn't answer immediately. I walked to the shelf, pulled down a small fireproof lockbox, set it on the table, opened it and placed one last document in front of them. IRS notification. Inquiry initiated. My sister gasped. Dad's hand covered his mouth. "I didn't file that out of revenge," I said calmly. "I filed it because you used my SSN to claim dependents that aren't mine." Her face went white. Dad whispered, barely breathing, "Oh God, you told the IRS." "Yes," I answered. "And they'll find everything I never knew, and everything you never thought I'd find." My sister suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Slow, please. Please, you don't understand." I didn't think you'd actually fight back. Exactly. That was the entire story of my life in one sentence. I gently removed her hand. Dad tried a different angle, the soft guilt hook. We're family. We can fix this. Just stop the process. I looked at him with a kind of peace that only comes when a lifelong illusion snaps. Family is a verb, I said. And you never did it. My phone buzzed on the counter. Email. Protective order confirmed. Enforcement active. I turned the screen toward them. This isn't about punishment, I said. It's about consequences. Dad stood slowly. My sister wiped mascara streaks from her cheeks. They walked to the door in silence, and for the first time in my life they left without slamming it. The next 48 hours were a strange echo. Quiet, heavy, unreal. No calls. No threats. No demands. Just stillness. I watered my plants. I meal prepped. I went to work. Normal things, except this time they finally felt like they were mine. On Tuesday, HR called me upstairs. They wanted to inform me formally that our company had selected me to represent our division at a cybersecurity summit in DC. A national panel. Me. The girl my family once said wasn't smart enough to manage a checking account. Funny how people who treat you like a fool panic when you stop acting like one. After work, I picked up a small apple tart from the bakery downstairs. A silly tradition of mine for small victories. When I got home, there were no notes under the door. No sabotage. No drama. Just quiet. I washed my face, tied my hair in a bun, sat cross-legged at my new dining table and opened my laptop. New email. From a woman named Marina. Subject: your story saved me. Her message was short, but it shook me. I saw your talk online. My sister drains my accounts. Yesterday I closed access for the first time. I can breathe. I stared at that one paragraph for a long time. Maybe all of this, the pain, the betrayal, wasn't just for escape. Maybe it was for direction. For hope. For a blueprint. Maybe we survive so someone else doesn't break the same way. I closed my laptop gently. This wasn't the end. It was the pivot. A year later, I stood on a stage in a conference hall in DC. Lights dimmed. Cameras focused. Rows of women in business suits watched as I spoke. Not as a victim, not as the quiet daughter who used to apologize for existing, but as a keynote speaker. A subject matter expert. A woman no one could financially leash ever again. My boundaries didn't destroy my family, I said into the mic. They just revealed who wanted access, not connection. When I finished, the room rose in a standing ovation that moved through the hall like a wave. Not applause for revenge, but recognition of evolution. Back in my hotel room that night, I opened the balcony door and let the cold air rush in. Down below, taxis slid across wet pavement, and streetlights blurred gold across the asphalt. The world looked clean. But don't. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't jump this time. I read calmly. We saw your speech online. We had no idea. Dad. For a moment I just stared at those 9 words. No apology. No accountability. Just awareness. Too late to matter. I typed 3 words back. Take care. Goodbye. Then I blocked the number. I closed the curtains, brewed chamomile tea, and sat cross-legged on the bed with my laptop open, reviewing applications for the new program I'd built. Secure banking for estranged women. I approved 3 new applicants before midnight. 3 women who would wake up tomorrow with access protections my mother once tried to rip from me. 3 women who would never kneel for grocery money. 3 women who would never hand their paychecks to someone who used family as a leash. I set my mug on the nightstand, closed my laptop, and looked out into the dark city. I wasn't running from anything anymore. I was building. For myself, for others, for every woman who learned the hard way that blood doesn't guarantee safety.